for the first time this winter, we are going back to school. College baseball is right around the corner, and we thought we would start our college coaches tour right at the top. Depending on the poll that you look at, Wake Forest is either #1 or very close to it this year. Yeah, #1 preseason pollster. According to Baseball America magazine, Tom Walters entering his 15th season as Wake Forest head coach. He's been around the college game for almost 3 decades now and takes some time with us on the stove. Tom, good morning. We appreciate the time today. You're the guy everybody's gunning for this year, preseason #1. Do you like that? Do you relish that role, or does that apply some undue pressure on what you're trying to accomplish?
We like it. Again, it's nice to be recognized by your peers. Obviously not a great predictor of how the season's going to turn out necessarily, but it's a nice honor that people feel that way, and we're proud of it. But we're focused on Fordham, February 16th.
Tom, does that soften any of the blow? Look, last year, your numbers you put up with the wins set a record. Postseason play didn't turn out the way you would have liked it. But does that soften the blow a little bit to still be realized as basically the team to beat going into this year?
Well, what's really nice about it is that coming off a year like last year, a lot of teams would have a backslide. You lose a ton of players in the draft like we did. We had some star power in Brock Wilken and Rhett Lauder that are gone, and a ton of other guys, Pierce Bennett, Tommy Hawk, et cetera. But for us to be back kind of in the national spotlight the very next year, I think speaks a lot to our program and our assistant coaches here and the work our players are putting in. So proud of that.
I would say, and not being, intimately familiar with every era of Wake Forest baseball, that these are the golden days for your program, what you've built there, Tom. I mean, a chance here with potentially as many as 5 first-rounders this June. You've really built a power there. Talk about this current class and some of the expectations you have for it.
Well, like you said, it starts with our star power. You've got Nick Kurtz and Seaver King are two of the, arguably 2 best position players in the country. Nick's got a chance to go 1-1 overall. And then on the mound, your starting rotation, Josh Hartle, Chase Burns, and Michael Massey. 3 Team USA guys, 3 guys that have had proven success at this level and could all certainly be first rounders. So, special group that starts at the top, but we've got a bunch of veteran guys around them. We've got guys like Adam Tellier and Tate Ballestero, Merrick Houston, our shortstops really come on. And we've got a great coaching staff. I think we have the best coaching staff in the country, and I'm really just proud of what we built here.
Now, Tom, some of the rules in college sports have changed over the years, and there's something out there called the transfer portal. Doing a little look-see at your club, you kind of fan of the transfer portal right now, maybe. I don't think every coach says that all the time when referring to the transfer portal.
We've certainly been the benefactor the last 2 years, last year's club, and then this year again. We've done a really good job in the portal. Again, testament to our assistant coaches who are going out there and beating the bushes and creating these relationships. But it's been good for us to be able to add some pieces. It's like a kind of a July 1, August 1 pickup in Major League Baseball. You can add a piece or 2 that gets you over the hump, and so you can have an Omaha caliber club. And that's what we've done the past 2 seasons.
I want to talk a little bit about your career, Tom. Really some fascinating installments here on your resume, specifically in 2005 when you were at New Orleans and you and your team and your community had to deal with Hurricane Katrina. You relocated to New Mexico State, of all places, and went on to have a pretty good run there. I would imagine among challenges faced by college coaches, that's about as steep a challenge as one could fathom.
Yeah, you're totally right. That was interesting. As I told our guys, we went from eating jambalaya and red beans to eating burritos and tacos. And again, thank goodness for Rocky Ward and the folks at New Mexico State who welcomed us in and really enabled us to keep our program together. We were able to kind of stay the course and continue to build. And I remember having recruits on official visits to Las Cruces, New Mexico, and pointing out the library and being like, "We got a library. Like when we get back to New Orleans, we got a library there too." So it was an interesting time for sure.
Hey Tom, we showed a lot of footage of your boys in the weight room and everything else. How much time have you gotten outside on the field this year? I know there's been some cold spells floating in the eastern part of the country lately. How much time have you gotten outside to get ready for Fordham coming up?
Well, we've been fortunate. Knock on wood, we've been out every day. We had one or two cold days there, kind of right in a row, a couple of weeks ago, where one day we couldn't get out. It was just too chilly. But other than that, we've been on the field, really every single day. So our guys are putting a ton of work in. We're ready. We're like 11 days away here, and we couldn't be more fired up. And we're fortunate because we have turf. The turf allows us to be out there on days where if you had a grass field, you couldn't get out there.
Tom, we talk often about the changes to Major League Baseball on this program at this network. With your, 3 decades in the college game as a head coach dating back to your George Washington days, what in your estimation, are among the biggest changes at the college level in baseball?
Well, certainly the transfer portal and NIL and COVID kind of all hitting at the same time. I mean, you just can't understate. And really the change of the draft, too. People underestimate the impact of how the draft moved from early June to kind of mid-July. That was a big change in things, too. So you've got this confluence of 4 things that really happened right at the same time. And it's, as the saying goes, it's adapt or die. You've got to kind of get adjusted to the new reality, the new world, and find your way.
Apologize for the football prop here. I know we're talking Wake Forest baseball, but I do have at least half of a Deamon Deacons helmet. We won't talk about the other half. This was from an Orange Bowl many years ago. But I'll put this out. It feels to me, tell me if I'm wrong, and I know that you have all kinds of respect and congenial relationships with the coaches of the other sports at Wake Forest, but it feels like baseball is really become kind of a much bigger point of emphasis there within the athletic department at Wake Forest than perhaps in years past. Am I right on that?
Well, we've certainly got a huge commitment to baseball, and we've had for a long time. Ron Wellman, our athletic director, and now John Curry are both ADs that are back in baseball for sure. And we've got a great alumni group, that has backed baseball too. Without our donors and our supporters, we wouldn't be where we are here today. But as far as sports at Wake Forest, we're good in everything we do. Women's golf national championship, Dave Kloster, football. Steve Forbes has a great team this year. Bobby Muse, is in there every year. So we're good in all our sports here at Wake and really proud of the whole athletic department.
There's a guy around here that walks around in a Chris Paul Wake Forest kind of half T-shirt jersey thing. So send us some Wake Forest baseball stuff, large, XL, and we'll get rid of this half Louisville helmet once and for all.
You can count on it. It'll be in the mail today.
Tom, we appreciate your time. Good luck this year. Good luck against Fordham next weekend, and we really appreciate the visit today.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me, and thanks for all you do for our game.